Welcome back. So in this video we're going to talk about who our stakeholders are, and I'll kind of fill this in a little bit more as we go through this video, but at least show you how to use a stakeholder map. I have students do this so many times over the years. I'll tell them to do a stakeholder map and they'll just do a generic one, like they'll say corporation, customers, government, suppliers, blah blah blah. That's really not how you do it, okay? So if we were to fill this in for Jackinthebox, and I want to do this kind of in a generic way, instead of saying the corporation, you're going to say Jackinthebox. Except you're going to say Jackinthebox with a pen that people can see. Not this green one that's not showing up. So, let's try with the purple pen. I got some purple on my tie, so maybe I'll be lucky, right? Pens never work for me. Alright, so, Jackinthebox. Okay? You can keep the corporation in there or not. I mean, I'm just saying corporation just to teach you all. But normally you just say Jackinthebox, just like that. Okay? Now if you look at governments, right? It can be governments, but it could also be governmental entities. Okay? So let's have an example. So if you're following along in the article, let's see here. I want to fill it in. So it looks like, see this. Okay. So what we're looking at is from government, you've got Washington State Health Department. Okay. That could be an example. Of course, they also talk to Children's Hospital. That could either be a primary or secondary stakeholder. Just for purposes of illustration, we'll make it a secondary stakeholder. Okay? You could also say Food and Drug Administration because they're mentioned in here, so you could put the FDA in here. Okay, so we're filling that in. Customers. Okay? And I'm doing this because normally what I do is I make the bubbles bigger, but you know, we're just kind of going through it. Customers, people in Washington. Okay? People in Washington State. Okay, that's fine. Employees. Well, it could be, and you know, you could do this in a variety of ways. You could say franchise owners, franchisees, employees of Jackinthebox Corporate, and of individual locations. Owners could be Jackinthebox shareholders, or you could do it as franchisees. You're noticing I put them both here. It doesn't matter. Like, if that's helpful to you, to keep it here, to explain that's as an employee or as an owner, whatever. Use it to tell the story that best helps you. Of course, media, because the New York Times is mentioned, etc., etc. Now, one of the things you can do in your stakeholder map, you can either fill in the bubbles just like I did, or you can actually draw one of these things out, like say, for example, FDA, Wash, State, whatever. And I've drawn these purple, but this is a primary stakeholder. I just didn't change the color on my pens. But you get the idea, right? You can either fill it in inside the little bubbles, or you can list them out. But don't just leave it saying customers, government employees, and owners. I mean, really? Really? So don't do that, okay? So this is the stakeholders, and I'll continue filling this in just a little bit as we go through the article, but I think you get the idea. This is the stakeholder map for Jackinthebox. And you as franchisees, potential franchisees one day, will notice or have to think about the importance of stakeholders. Because if you don't, you may face the very same thing as Jackinthebox did. Okay? So this is a different way to think about it. Don't think just so much about you as the entrepreneur in the middle, because we all know that entrepreneurs don't have problems with their egos. Okay? But think about the impact of your actions with regards to your stakeholders and how that may hurt your bottom line, hurt your reputation, and also possibly harm your long-term viability as a business owner. This is important stuff. You know, a lot of people pitch it as, oh, you should pay attention to stakeholders because it's ethical. Nobody buys those arguments, right? I mean, and if you watch my playlist on business ethics, you know, there's 18 different ethical principles, right? I mean, weighing these things out is not an exact science. So every action is both ethical and unethical simultaneously, depending on which principles you weigh more heavily, right? But, and that's the point of this Jackinthebox case, you can measure the very real economic impact for failing to ignore stakeholders. So ethics is not just a Judeo-Christian kind of thing to do if you follow that argument. It's also something that is profitable to do. Great. So we've talked about who are some stakeholders. The next thing we're going to talk about is the importance of crisis communication. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.